just because its belief systems, not its operation so much, but its belief systems, are extremely rigid. This will be a good thing. Unfortunately, for those who will be overly dependent upon the medical system and overly belief-laden, relying upon it, they may find that services are closed down. There's going to be a huge, huge flip and turnover just in the next few months. Saturn's going back into that health sign there, so expect some sort of health turmoil in the next few months. But you will find that those who go into these fields are exhausted. The ritual and the initiations to become a medical practitioner are grueling. They are cruel. They're cruel. To work 48-hour shifts, to be exhausted, to live on coffee, to live on drugs. Your system is decayed. It does not mean to say there's not good doctors out there who can do a good operation on you and get you back into health. It means the collective belief system doesn't work for society. And it has to be rethought. Attitudes, the hospitals, how doctors visit patients, why people go to doctors. Doctors need to be advocates in the community rather than waiting for sick people to come in. Do you follow what we are saying? So if you can take that message forward, please do so by all means. There is a probability waiting. As soon as the ideas and the desire is there to do it, the probability will flourish. You know, sometimes you think you have to build things from scratch. It's so hard to make changes. In the nanoseconds, the desire to do something, to produce greater food, to produce food that is energized by children singing around it, for example. Imagine that. A school garden, and every day they went out at 9:30 and they sang a few songs and danced around the garden. Do you know what kind of food would grow in that garden? Extraordinary food. Why? Because they would run, which runs energy, running energy, creating energy, and singing. Many things flourish through singing. You know, in the future, some of the alternative things that will come about over battles of licensing and all this, people will come to learn that the power of their voice and singing to someone who is not well, they can sing them well. This is rare at first, but the person can have certain tonalities. You know, many of the things that you are looking for are not as complex as society would have you believe. They will come through your own biological beings as they did through your ancestors. Questions, please.
This is Doris.
Doris, yes.
I've heard you say that we are all psychic. It's a matter of opening and developing those senses.
And it's a matter of accepting that, number one, and then welcoming it. And yes, in our workshops there, when we have them down at the Moon on psychic development, everyone has to say, you can say it with us, I am psychic. Yes. Now, everyone's not going to be psychic in the same way. But you tend to think, if someone's psychic, then they can do this, this, and this. Now, as soon as you say this, and you can say this for the next few days to yourself, look yourself in the mirror, wink, and say, I am psychic. What do you think is going to happen?
You're going to get psychic.
You're going to start pulling it out, yes, and play with it, and then your predilection, your specialty will make itself known. And before we go back to Doris, we'll say a simple way to practice being psychic is that when the phone rings, before you pick it up, and don't look at those little caller numbers or anything, decide who it is. I feel it is this person, or I think it is this person. To develop these things, you must play games to do it. Do you understand? And that's a very simple one, but you will find that it will come faster and faster. What's your question, Doris?
I've also heard you say that in reference to the Garden of Eden, that there was a manufactured consciousness that was deprived of that galactic seed associated with psychic abilities. And I'm wondering, what does that mean for the human race now? who are the manufactured consciousness?
Well, we are not certain where you are quoting us from, so that is a bit difficult. We know you listen to some CDs and books and
Yes.
things, and so we are attempting to track to see what we said exactly. And if it is in reference to Garden of Eden, remember the story was about eating from the tree of knowledge, which got the two Hughs in big trouble, yes?
Yes.
Big trouble. With the serpent, yes. And the gods were all, and it wasn't it was said that the Lord or the gods were all quite relieved that the humans did not eat of the tree of knowledge. Oh, sorry, the tree of life. They ate of the tree of knowledge, they did not eat of the tree of life. These are metaphors for various things in certain terms of history. One could say that your species has undergone on a number of occasions, in many probabilities, an infusion of genetic engineering from beings, let's say, that would be outside of your sphere of living, outside your planetary sphere, from other places, etc., through the dimensions. And so on some level, there was modification. Obviously, Garden of Eden, Adam was created, Eve came from his rib, according to your story. But the older story says that Adam was created, then Lilith was created, and Lilith said, hey, you're not going to get me to marry this guy, I'm out of here. Do you understand? So some of the stories talk about humans rebelling, living in the garden. And in certain terms, the humanity was genetically engineered to maintain a certain garden for the gods. Now, gardening is a key word for what the gods do. It is something that is a major predilection of the gods, to garden. This is why we call Earth the living library. The gods garden. That's why we encourage you to garden. Because there is an entrainment with something very old. It is very restful and it opens the timelines very deep. Now, the gods gardened by genetic engineering. And they were not so interested in producing plants, as it were, although many of the species of plants on your planet were brought to your world, and you were taught the rudiments of agriculture, etc. So in certain terms, the experiment within the Garden of Eden was interfered with by the serpent. The serpent represents the fallen angel, the devil. It also represents wisdom in the greatest of records. Being of wisdom warned to humans what was going on. And then the humans were banished from the garden because they were not then, let's say, they could no longer be the farmers of the garden, so to speak. They were banished from it. The experiments have continued. They continue to this day. There are many stories, and they are true, of people who have been abducted, taken in the dream state, taken in the physical state, military family things, all this, and people who have been experimented on by what they call extraterrestrial beings or strange-looking beings. So the interference and the coming and going within the human field has been long going. Of course, it is a genetic library, so many are attracted to it. The rules, so to speak, are for observation. To observe, to subtly enhance humanity, but it has long been forbidden to come in and genetically, purposely cut you open, steal your DNA, etc. And yet you are co-creators. You've gotten yourself in a dilemma. You can't tell what's going on. You live in a box. You can't figure out what's going on in the cosmos. All of this is creating a re-stimulation in some ways, Doris, of the Garden of the Eden story. Do you understand this? It's going way back to your primal roots about disobeying and breaking free of something that you were trapped into. Now, of course, those humans would have had a certain genetic engineering. This is where we used to talk about your 12 strands of DNA. We don't like people to get hung up on that, but the crux of the story is that you have been at times on the planet genetically modified